Hey, what is up, everybody? So, welcome back to the Busy With Lizzy podcast. This is the first ever live episode that I've ever done in my life. So, I'm really excited. And I know I probably won't have anybody actually coming on here to listen to the episode. But that's okay. It's okay. Because you know why? Because I also record on my phone. So, even though no one's listening, actually visibly on the live yet, I am doing it because it was a goal of mine, and so we're on. So that is a big thing, just in the fact that I actually got on to do this. And then also that it's my episode for this week. So either way, it works, and I'm happy, and it goes up on the YouTube channel afterwards, and it's going to go on the regular episode through my phone, which I probably shouldn't be moving around so that it actually picks up well. But I'm excited, whether people join or not. And honestly, I should have probably put out a thing tonight, or not tonight, this morning, saying, hey, remember we're going live, so join. But I did not, and it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. I got this new notebook from my sister for my birthday, and it has all my live episode notes in it. So we're going to be using this today. I'm really excited. I'm using this notebook as a whole for pretty much all of my podcasting stuff. Also, ignore the red lip. I don't normally do my makeup often. I like to do just a normal mascara usually, but my friend and I are dressing up as Marilyn Monroe. That's who I'm dressing up as, and she's dressing up as Audrey Hepburn, and we're going to a cute little cafe, so I'm very, very excited. Also, I attempted to use this today to set up my live, and I couldn't get it. So we're going to try again another time to actually get it. But also, I heard that I read on the thing that I can also use it for my Zooms. So actually, hopefully most of my other podcasts will be using this camera, which I'm very excited for because usually I just use the normal computer camera. Yeah. And that's technically what I'm using right now. Although, I don't know. This actually looks better, so I think it might be connected to my other one. Plus, the little light isn't on for the normal one. So, actually, it might be using it, and I didn't even have to really do anything. Okay, anyway, let's move on. This is better quality, I think, than normal. So, hopefully it's using it. Who knows? So, I just want to dive right into the books that I've read this year. Which are, I think I've read 3, and I'm currently reading 3. So by the end of the month, I will have read 6. The first book I read, I do not recommend at all for multiple reasons. And it is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I hated it, honestly. First of all, I'm Christian, and so I try not to read too much spice. So I didn't like that aspect. I knew going in it had it, so that didn't really affect the way that I viewed the book. The spice didn't, because I knew going in it was gonna have it, and I just was gonna skip over it. Anyway, I liked up until probably here. This first bit was great. This last bit sucked. Henry was my favorite character. I really wanted him to have a great ending, and he got nothing. I don't even understand what his character had to do with anything, honestly, but he was definitely my favorite character. Next, I read Love in Other Words, which I would say is the opposite of Icebreaker, although I would still not recommend it. This is by Christina Lauren, which, okay, 2 things. I've read a book by her before that I loved. Also, it's not her, it's they. and not because of pronoun issues, but because there's 2 of them. So I didn't know this. This was the other thing I was going to say. There are 2 authors. 2 authors. And their names are Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. So Christina, Lauren. Anyway, I thought that part was cool. And to have 2 authors writing a book, I always think is awesome. Because you've really got to work together and know what's going on. I loved their other book, Wilder, I think is what it was called. That one was good. This one, the last 100 pages was great, but the first 300 pages sucked. Next, I read The Color Purple, which is one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. I have 2 out of my 4 fiction books are my favorites, which I know it's that's half of them, but this one was really, really good. They're making a second movie out of it, which I really want to go see. And it's kind of the reason I was like, okay, I'm just going to read it, because I've had it for a long time. I've been wanting to read it ever since I watched Freedom Riders and read Freedom Riders, because that book is, it's actual journal prompts from a school. And then they made it into a movie, which was amazing. Read the book. Okay, first of all, I watched the movie first, then read the book. Loved the movie, loved the book 10 times more. So I wanted to read it since then because they read it in class. Read it, blew my mind. It deals with just a lot of really horrific things going on. And the first 2 pages will break your heart. This entire book is heartbreaking, but it was amazingly written. I don't even know what to say on it, because it kind of just blew my mind. And if you know anything about the podcast, we talk a lot about stories, and that is exactly what this book is. It's story, it's deep, it's and I know you're like, all books are stories, Lizzy. Well, yes, but this book, it's it feels so real and raw and hard, and it's a really good book. So The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I almost said Alex. Don't know why. Okay, now the fiction book I'm currently reading is called The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm going to make a whole podcast episode based on this book because of how good this book is. And that's not to say that all other good books that I read are going to also be made podcasts, or that if I don't make them a podcast, they're not a good book. But sometimes there are books that I'm like, I don't even know how to talk on this because of just everything. I'm like, you just need to read it yourself. This book, though, I could talk on for hours. I have such strong opinions about things in this book, and I love it. I have about less than 65 more pages. Actually, I think I have less than 60 more pages now, because I break it up so that I can read all of them in a week. So far I've read 1 book a week. And so it was 63 point some odd pages per day to finish this book. And I read a little bit extra yesterday. Sometimes I usually read a little extra, but then the next day I'll read not as much and that kind of thing. Anyway, then I've also been reading a memoir. So the goal of the year is to read 1 fiction book per week, 1 memoir per month, and attempt at 1 nonfiction book a week. Now that's a lot. So I don't assume that I'm just going to actually get there at all. But you know what? It'll be worth a shot. It'll be worth a shot. So I'll explain. But I only kind of started with the nonfiction ones every week this week. So, and I'm not even I don't think I'm going to finish it by the end of the week. So we'll just see where that goes. Sorry. I want to explain this in a second too. Anyway, the memoir I'm reading is The Next Chapter by Jana Kramer. I have loved Jana Kramer for years and years and years now. The one thing I haven't done is actually watched One Tree Hill that has her in it. I have seen almost all her other movies and shows. Is she in any other shows? I can't remember. But that is one thing I haven't seen. But that's because I haven't found on like a streaming service for free since I got into it. If that makes sense. Since I got into her. I don't know. But I have seen the clips, a lot of clips of when she's in, because middle school me just looked up YouTube clips of things. Got me into trouble. Anyway, Jana Kramer is an amazing actress, singer. Her songs are amazing, especially the songs about her divorce. And this is what that book is about. It's about getting over past her divorce, like moving on to the next chapter. She has 3 kids now. She just had her 3rd not that long ago. Anyway, I love her. I'm also going to be doing an episode about this, but that was because I was planning on doing a book club with it, and then didn't know how I should do that. So then I just read it. So I want to do an episode. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is maybe doing one episode. Okay, I'm having a hard time with, like, making sure I keep my niche down with, like, it being stories. But I'm like, but stories include books. So we'll figure something out. But I am going to include those 2 books in an episode. The next book I read, or I'm reading, is called Slow Church by Christopher Smith and John Pattison. It's on my iPad, and I don't really want to, like, I feel like it's not going to work. But anyway, it's pretty good so far. I've been reading a lot of hospitality and service books, which I never really talked about on here, like the specific ones. But I've been reading a lot of them, and they're really good. I've been really getting into hospitality and hosting and serving. Those are really big for me right now. So I am going to probably start doing more stuff with that. I have some things that I'm really working on in the works of figuring out if to use those things. But we'll see kind of when that happens. I need to talk to some people. But yeah, very exciting stuff. So those are the books that I've read this month. I'll talk about the books that I'm going to be reading soon, but that's coming up. So, yeah. Anyway, the media things that I don't want to say watched, because 2 of these things aren't watching. But okay, we'll just get into it. I watched May December, which, if you didn't know, it's about it's based on true story. I don't remember their names though, so I'm not gonna like pretend that I do. But it was a teacher who, groomed a student, had sex with said student. I don't know if I can even say that on here, on the live, but yeah, I should probably watch myself with that. Anyways, I didn't really think about that, but what was I saying? Yeah, so then she had a kid with the student. She went to jail, had a kid with the student, got out of jail. They ended up getting married and, like, having another kid. I think in the movie they have 3 kids, but in real life they have 2. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it. It was a really, really good movie. So the movie was about an actress coming in and living with them because she's going to play the lady in a movie. And it was really sad to watch, but I thought it was really well done. Only thing is, now I just watched a video on TikTok talking about how the guy, the student, who's now like 40, up the 30s, something like that, about how he did not approve the movie and stuff. And so now I'm like, probably shouldn't have watched it, but that's okay. Yeah, so and the girl has died now. Like the lady, the teacher, the groomer, pedophile. I also don't know if I can say that on here, but here we are. Another thing I've been using is, I can't show you on my phone. Is the app 28. I almost said Lemonade. I do use that app too, but 28. It tracks your cycle. So it tracks and tells you when each part of your cycle happens. It tells you what workouts to do for that cycle, and it gives you recipes and grocery lists for your cycle, or that part of your cycle. I love it. I ended up buying the premium version because otherwise you don't really get the workouts and the recipes. You just get the calendar and the cycles when your cycle's happening, which is still good, still helpful. But it was $90 for the year, so I thought that was worth it. Totally was like, yeah, let's do it. So I got that. I'm really happy I did. Yeah, that's that, I guess. The creator of 28 also has a magazine called Evie. I'm pretty sure it's the same. I know it's the same person who does certain things, but I think it's creator. I watched a podcast with Alex Clark and her. Anyway, it's called Evie. It is my new favorite magazine. I follow them on Instagram. For Christmas, my mom got me a subscription to them because otherwise you can only watch or read a couple articles a month if you have it for free. But yeah, so I got it and I love it. I read a lot of it, literally love it. Very feminine. It's all very, very feminine. Same with the 28, really embracing femininity, which is beautiful. And then lately I've been watching the show This Is Us. I like it because it really just show like multiple people's stories and like how like the stuff from the childhood is affecting them now, and like it has Mandy Moore, so it's good. I love Mandy Moore, so very, very happy to be watching that. That doesn't really have much to do with anything, but I love it. Now a little ad break. I'm just kidding. I don't have any ads to do. I am not sponsored by anybody yet, but if you want to sponsor me for something, go right ahead. Anyway, I made myself a lotus in my little Costco Pendleton cup that is so cute. I have another one over there, which I like that one better. It's like tan, but both are adorable. Got them for Christmas from Santa Claus. And then I also got a lotus, like the pump. So if you don't know what lotus is, because apparently it's not super common other places. But it's an energy drink, but you put like 2 shots of it. Shots? Yeah, I guess, right? The pump. 2 pumps of it? 2 pumps, not shots, 2 pumps. Can you tell I've never been a barista in my life? Anyway, you put 2 pumps in, then you put flavoring. So I put huckleberry, because it's my favorite. And then I also have an iron supplement that I use now, which I'm really happy to be finally using. I am very, what's the word? Every time I try to like think of something, it like literally leaves my mind. And everyone's like, you're an author though, so you shouldn't do that. I'm like, sorry. Whatever, iron deficient. Anemic. I'm anemic. So most teen girls are. So, But I put iron supplement in here. It's literally liquid, and I just pour it in. It's great. If you want to know what it's from, I'll post it later. Because I made a TikTok the other day when I made it. I haven't posted it yet, but I'll probably post it soon. So I put that in, and then you just put in club soda or sparkling water. We don't have club soda right now, so I've just been using sparkling water, but normally I use club soda. So yeah, that's this drink. Also, the iron doesn't change the taste of anything. Might give it a little bit if you use it in just water. But if you're putting flavoring in, it won't do anything. And even with the water, it just gives it a little bit of a weird aftertaste, because I used to take it in my water every day. Well, not every day, but while I was at school in Virginia, I'd put it in my water. And it would give it a little bit of a weird aftertaste, but it wasn't bad. So like you can put in anything. I'm hopefully going to be getting some orange juice soon, and then I'll start putting it in there because vitamin C helps you absorb iron better. So yeah. Also, I've been cycling my workouts lately, just because we were talking about that earlier. And it's been really good. I haven't been so consistent with it. It's one of my goals is to learn more about cycle syncing, but not worry too much if I'm not doing it. But I've been trying. So I do need to post that, but I did make a little lemonade thing about my luteal phase and how I ended up cycle syncing pretty well for that phase. But that's the only phase that I've been consistent with so far. I haven't been doing great. My goal for next week is to purely cycle sync my workouts, except for Tuesday because I'm hanging out with a friend. But yeah, that's the goal. Okay, so my next thing is some more spiritual learning. I know that if you listen to what was supposed to be the live episode for November, you'd heard me talk about spiritual learning and stuff. So I just want to read from Hebrews, just something that my Bible puts in. It's not something that is in the Bible, if that makes sense. Anyway, I've been reading Hebrews this month. I've also been reading Philippians, but that's with a friend, so we only do it once a week, and we're only on chapter 2. But Hebrews is such a good book. For February, I'm doing Acts, so looking forward to that. It's my favorite book of the Bible. But Hebrews is definitely going to be a close second, because this is good stuff. But this is just a little insert thingy over here that I'm going to read that the Passion Bible puts in. Or they call it the Jesus Bible, but it's from Passion. I also went to Passion this year. Go check out that video, that podcast. Well, it's not a video on YouTube, but it is an episode from last week where my friend Abby, who I got to go with, came on, and we talked about Passion. So, yeah. Hebrews 4:16, the majesty of Christ. So it's talking about Hebrews 4:16. This is not Hebrews 4:16 reading. Okay. Christology is simply the study of Jesus, who Jesus is and what that implies for the lives of those who believe in him for their salvation. The book of Hebrews provides an especially robust Christology, describing who Jesus is, detailing his many roles in relation to Old Testament scriptures, and outlining what all of this means to each Christian. That's just a little overview of Hebrews in general. So that's why I've been loving it. And then it explains a couple of these ways. Jesus is heir to all things. Hebrews 1:2. When I just say the verse, it's because it's in Hebrews, okay? So I'm just going to say 1:2, okay? Jesus is heir to all things, 1:2, which means that as God's firstborn son, Christ will inherit infinite glory and honor. He is the one through whom God made the world, 1:2, the creative agent behind the universe, and the one who still stewards his creation. He is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of God's person, 1:3, the one who perfectly reflects the majesty of God and is himself God in the flesh. Jesus sustains the world by his power and sits at the right hand of God, 1:3. He is living, ruling Savior who provides for his creation on a daily basis and who also superintends the universe. Because he is one with God, Jesus is better than the angels, 1:4. No matter how glorious and awe-inspiring they are, and is also better than Moses, 3:3, and all the prophets. He is the pioneer of our salvation, 2:10, the founder of the effort to bring many sons and daughters to glory. He is the destroyer of the devil, 2:14, overcoming death and Satan through his resurrection. As a merciful high priest, 2:17, Jesus presented his own blood as the perfect sacrifice for human sin. Also, as the believer's high priest, he can sympathize with our weaknesses, 4:15, because he experienced life as a human on earth. As an eternal priest, Jesus always makes intercession before God for his people, 7:25. Jesus is the mediator of a better covenant, 8:6, superseding the old covenant, which is with its earthly tabernacle and need for human sacrifices. He is our model of enduring hostility for sinful people, 12:2-3. When we are discouraged, we can find great strength and inspiration in Christ's willingness to persevere under persecution. Jesus is the great shepherd of the sheep, 13:20, the one who cares for us and who will ultimately lead us to our eternal home. And then I'm just going to read 4:16, and it says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." And we can approach God's throne with grace and confidence because of Jesus. So that was just one thing that really stood out to me this month, and so I just wanted to mention that one, but it's not like the biggest, it's not the only thing I've been learning or anything. I just wanted to do that. I have a notebook that does have all my learning from 2024 so far. It starts here and ends here. So it's like, oh, you can't see that. And it goes this long. And that's an extra page that my friend let me borrow that got a little crinkled. It just goes right there. Anyway, so I'll probably do like a 2024 recap later, or like I'm gonna do a Hebrews recap on something. I don't know if it'll be on the podcast necessarily or not, but yeah. So events this month was Passion. For my I didn't get my Bible there, but like it is technically from Passion. I've had this Bible for a while though. It was so good. So amazing. Again, we did a whole podcast episode, so go check it out. The only thing that I didn't say in the episode that like I've been thinking about a lot lately is about how grateful I am that we get to read God's word and have it for ourselves in our language, because we watched this guy write out the first 12 verses, I think, of a Bible in another language, and that was just so cool. So I'm just grateful that we have it fully in our language. My birthday was this month, so I made a birthday episode. It was the first episode of 2024. Really cool. I went on a hike with my boyfriend, and we went to Frosted Barrel and got these cute little hot cocoa flights that had like little mini, like 4 mini hot cocos, and then 4 little scoops of ice cream that went along with each cup of hot cocoa. So good. We sat at a little table with a little fireplace, and it just was so cozy and fun and like the best birthday ever. Also today, Peep the Red Lip, my friend and I are celebrating my birthday. We're going to a cute little cafe, which you'll get lots of pictures, don't worry. Not that you actually want them, but you know, it'll be fun. So yeah, we're going to a little cafe. We're dressing up, so I'm really excited. Apparently she had to make a reservation, so it's at 12:30. So in almost exactly 3 hours. So really fun. I hosted a girls' sleepover for the girls in our youth group. So my boyfriend and I both help out at his church's youth group, which there's a lot with church right now that's very exciting, that I probably will talk about a little bit later of some stuff happening. But I'm really excited about it. Anyway, I help with our church's youth group. These girls are amazing. I love them all. I specifically help with the middle school girls right now and have made really great connections with some of them, and some really great connections with some of the high school girls too, but the sleepover was with all of them, so that was really fun that we got to do that. I think the girls really enjoyed it. They were the ones asking me if I could do it because our youth pastor's wife, she has a baby who's almost a year old actually, on the 1st of February, but she can't really stay away for a whole night. So, and she would be getting no sleep if she was at the sleepover. So she decided to stay home. Totally makes sense. But that's why they came to me and asked if I would put it on. And so I got to do that, which was so cool. I had a great time, and I'm really wanting to do more with them. And so that's a part of the whole like excitement towards stuff is wanting to do more with them. So I'll probably make some videos on that. Actually, speaking of videos on things, for my birthday, my dad got me this camera, and I'm so excited to use it. I'm gonna turn it on. Yeah, so now it's like pointing at me, and it tracks. Well, okay, so right now it's on so that it'll track a certain spot on here, so like it's not tracking my face. But normally what would happen is it would track my face. Depending on, yeah, here we go. So it has different things, and it's super, super cool. I'm loving it. But I think I like this one best. But I'm really excited to use it. I'm probably going to use it when we go to Arizona, which is something I'm looking forward to in February. That I haven't really talked about because I haven't gotten the exciting February stuff yet. But I'm going to Arizona with my boyfriend and his family, and it's going to be awesome. And I really want to use this and bring this. But I kind of want to make some vlog content, so I'm going to make some posts later and see what y'all want to see. Anyway, I thought it'd be cool to like film some stuff about like, okay, here's some of the stuff that we did for different events, and be kind of inspiring to other people to do certain other events too. Because I just love hospitality. I think everyone needs to do it, and I think it's. I read a book. I guess I must have read it in December, but it was about how hospitality is the easiest way to change the world. And I loved the book. It was really good. I think it was December. Maybe it was January, and I've officially finished 4 books. But I don't want to say that for sure, so I'm not going to. Actually, we can tell. Hold up. Because I write all the notes in the same little notebook. Everything. Okay, so was it this year? Or was it not this year? I don't think it was this year. It was this year. I finished it on the 2nd. I probably finished it. That's a lie. I probably finished it in December then. Or on the 1st. Whatever. I'm not going to count it either way. But if it was on the 2nd, I'd probably finish it a few days before that. So it's probably in December. Because I take my notes after I read it, so then I can refresh my brain on everything. Anyway, I want to post just about that because I think hospitality is the easiest way to change the world, and super exciting stuff. And I love to serve, and I love to host people, and so reading that was really, really cool. Anyway, I restarted school, so I have 2 classes through Liberty's online program. I went to Liberty University in person last year, didn't like it, came home. I would love to talk about Liberty at some point, and I'm not talking about it in a bad light because I still think it's a great school, just I didn't enjoy being there. There are certain things I did enjoy, certain things I didn't, and so I'd just like to have a conversation about it because there are some really great things about it and really not great things about it, but it is almost like, but that's all based on your personal preference. So like the things that weren't great for me were probably great for someone else. So just putting that out there. So yeah, I'd like to make a video, but I'm taking a strategic communications class as well as a worship class. So I have been taking those since the 15th. So it's been 2 weeks now. They're going pretty good. They're a lot of work because they're 8-week classes, but we're getting through them. We're doing great. We got this. I took a couple workout classes this year so far. So I took a Pilates class and I took a dance class. Pilates was okay. It's kind of weird because most of the people in the classes are older because I go to a gym that's a lot of older people, rich older people. Not that that's actually a bad thing. I feel like when you talk about like older people going to the gym, it's usually richer people. I don't know, especially like, I don't know, that's just what the gym makes me think about. I don't mean that rudely at all. It just, yeah. Anyway, moving on because I overthink everything I say. The Pilates class was a little weird because it was more like, okay, here you're gonna like make sure you can do this and that, and like I feel like it wasn't what I was used to, because I'm used to going to a class that's all younger people, all school people, like my age people, and anyway, all my age people, because I went at Liberty to a lot of Pilates classes. One of my favorite things about Liberty. And it was not that. It wasn't hardcore. Because I would do, what Pilates class was it? It was I think it was like a little bit more advanced than the other one. I don't know. But yeah, so like now going to one that's like a lot of older people is a little weird. But it's still good. It was really fun. The dance workout class though, my favorite. I'm obsessed. The lady was so nice. I love her. Definitely want to go to more, but I just have to find time. So this was the other church thing that I wanted to talk about, but like, I don't know that I don't want to say that I'm doing anything with it yet. But I went to a dinner party last night to talk about a church plant in Seattle that I would love to do some stuff with, but I'm going to be talking to the pastor's wife soon to talk a little more about it. So I'm very excited for that. It'll be really cool and good to talk to her and figure out what everything's going to look like. And then other than that, I've been nannying and volunteering like literally all the time and hang out with my boyfriend. I go out with the friend that I'm going out with today. We go out every Saturday. I have another friend that I go to coffee with every Friday. I've been doing some stuff with the middle school and high school girls just to get to know them a little bit better. So that's been really cool. Yeah. And then volunteering for the youth group, volunteering at a pregnancy help center. And then I nanny for 2 families that are great. The little boy that I nanny has always been like, I've nannied him for almost 2 years, a little under 2 years, so a year and a half maybe. And like he's just doing so good, and it makes me so happy to like be with him again. Like, because when I was at school, I obviously wasn't, but now I am. And I mean, I have been literally since this summer, so since like May. But now he has a little brother, so I have 2 of them there, but I've been doing mostly like mother's helper stuff there just because Christy, the mom, is still home. So that's been really great. And then I watch a little girl, and she is just adorable. She's so sweet, just wants to be held, just wants to listen to Disney music and dance with me, and she'll fall asleep in my arms, and it's so, so cute. I love it. And it's been great because I've been getting like really good at writing sprints. So like she only sleeps for a short period of time, so I gotta write that whole time. Or like I work on homework too, depending on what I have finished and what I haven't finished yet with homework. And then a lot of times like my homework I think is gonna take me forever and it doesn't. So then, then I have more time to write. Anyway, so that's kind of been like some events this month. I'm trying to think if there were any others, but I don't think that there were. Yeah, I don't think so. But I've been loving life. Like I said 2024 was going to be my year, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been things that have sucked. Like there has been things that I have absolutely hated and been really, really angry about. But there's been some really, really good stuff. And I know that like I'm just talking about more of the good stuff, but it's because like a lot of this bad stuff that's happened isn't that bad. Or like the stuff that has happened, it's been something that I have certain people that I talk to about it. And so I've talked to them, gotten insight, and it doesn't make like I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it on here necessarily, because it is more private, and like I know that it's been like a big thing on social media is getting more vulnerable. But I think that that's a really, really great thing. And I think it's good to be honest when you are going through things. But I think it's also good to just be like, to understand that, like, you don't have to talk about bad things in your life. I feel like when I talk about them too often, I dwell on them, like, a lot. And so it sucks. And so I will talk about certain things on here because there are certain things that I feel like, yeah, anyone can know this. But there are certain things that I'm going to deal with certain people. I have very specific people that I talk to about these things. And that's just how the ball rolls, how the cookie crumbles, I guess it's how the dice rolls. Anyway, it's just how it works. So, yeah. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Oh, I will mention a little bit of it, though. It's just, like, some of it is just inner turmoil of, like, I overthink things, and I get frustrated with things, and, like, I get really upset over, like, feeling like I'm doing so much, and, like, nothing's happening, and stuff like that. And so it's a lot of, like, inner turmoil stuff, but we're good. We're snazzy, and God is working in us, through us. I don't know why I'm saying us when I mean me, but it is what it is. So if you didn't, we're just gonna move on. This is the 4th episode of the month. Yeah, 4th episode. I'm so sorry. 4th episode of the month. My first one was my birthday episode, so it was a solo, which was really fun because it came out on my birthday. I turned 20. So that was fun. Then we had Derek Anyway, he's very, very nice. I probably should have written his last name down so I could remember it. But he's very, very sweet. He's great. I really enjoyed talking to him. I just talked to him in December, and we uploaded in January. So he is a filmmaker. He created the film From My Eyes. I want to say Looking in the Eyes every single time because that is my book name. So From My Eyes, Looking in the Eyes, they're one now, okay? They're the same thing. No, they're not. They're very different. His is way better. No, I'm just kidding. Mine is really good too. But his film is amazing, and they're good in their own special ways. But his film truly was amazing. I watched it. It's on YouTube, so go check it out. Go listen to the podcast episode about it. It was so good. Also, like I was talking about earlier, did a passion video, podcast, not video. Derek's video is on YouTube. The podcast interview. The passion one is not because I don't know why. My friend and I did it over FaceTime, and I screen recorded, but it didn't pick up the sound. So I'm a little confused if that's just something that happens when you use FaceTime and screen record, but it's what it is. You made a good episode on my phone, so it works well. And then the slide episode technically will come out tomorrow. I would say to the people who are on the live, but there are none. So it's coming out the day that you guys all see this. Anyway, February. We're looking forward to February. February is going to be a great month. I have lots going on. Valentine's week. It's a week this year, guys. Okay, well, it's going to be probably 6 days. But I have a plan for every single day, so I'm really hoping I do something with this. I don't know yet. But I bought tickets to go on a train ride around Mount Rainier with my boyfriend. So we're going to go do that. I have to make up. I have to make up for last year. If you didn't know, actually probably didn't, I broke up with my boyfriend the day before Valentine's Day. And yeah, well, we're back together now. And everything is going great. So, like, don't think that there's anything weird. Everything is amazing. Like, honestly, I'd like to do some sort of episode talking a little bit about it for February because Valentine's Day and everything. But, like, I don't want it to be, I don't know. We'll see how I do that. But we were very toxic before, and now our relationship is literally the best thing that could have ever happened to us. So it's been really, really great. But I want to make up for Valentine's Day this year. And so I made a whole week. I planned a whole week. And I'm very, very, and I know I don't have to make up. Just so you know, he has not once said anything about making sure I make up for last year. He has said nothing. This is all on me. I know I don't have to do it, Sorry, my dogs are playing with the squeaky toy. I know I don't have to do it. I want to do this. This is my way of showing my love. I love to plan things. I love acts of service, gift giving, quality time, all the love languages, really, to be honest, I think can all fit really, really well together. And so that's kind of the goal. Not kind of, it is. So I have some really, really great stuff planned that I'm very, very excited about. And this is something also just exciting for me that I want to do. And so I know people are going to be like, listen, you don't have to do that. Actually, probably no one will be that way. But I don't know. Some of my friends, I think, would say that to me if I was telling them all this stuff. But I know I don't have to do this. This is something that I'm doing because I love him and because I want to do it for him. Because it's exciting to me too. So yeah. I have 3 great guests coming on. I'm very excited for them. One is our youth pastor, who you've heard before, Nick. Pastor Nick, he is amazing. We love Pastor Nick. He's coming on to talk about God being love, which I'm very excited to talk to him about. I need to get him questions before I forget. And then I have 2 amazing girls coming on to talk. They were so kind to talk to. I actually have 3 episodes recorded with 3 different girls that are saved for February and then the first week of March, which is very, very exciting. That I have these guests, and then I have Pastor Nick coming on for a week 2, which the reason that he's going to come on before one of the girls is just because it goes along with Valentine's Day and God being love. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to say is I have 9 books to read in February, maybe more. The thing is, next week's a weird week because it is both Valentine's Day, both January and February, and so I'm trying to figure out do I want to read another book? I'm probably gonna finish Slow Church, and I might read a really, really skinny book, really thin. Don't have to work too hard. I don't know. Anyway, okay. I guess we'll start with the fiction books, and this is the order of them. Okay. Order. I have so much stuff right here. I'm at my kitchen table too, and you will be seeing a lot of episodes this way from recorded ones because my Wi-Fi in my room is terrible, and I don't know why. I cannot connect to it. It won't let me anymore. So I have to come out here for everything now, which I guess is good because it makes me talk to my family, but still, I'd like to record my podcast in my room where not everyone is listening. I also feel like I really put them out because I'm in the kitchen. My sister was washing her hands earlier, and it was really loud, and I was like, can you not? But then I was like, I feel bad because you should just be able to go wash your hands in the kitchen sink. Anyway, so the first 3 books I got at half price books, and then the last one I'm borrowing from a friend. Actually, a friend's mom, who I love. Literally, that whole family is my favorite people. I say that about lots of people. I say they're my favorite people, but, they're great. They're some of my favorite people. How about I say that? So the first one is Love and Other Mistakes. This one I'm really excited about because I think it's kind of a Christian fiction, which I didn't know. And so I'm actually, I did know when I bought it. Anyway, I haven't seen a lot of Christian fiction like this. And I don't know how much of it is Christian, but I'm excited to see because it talks about how God feels very far away. So I'm assuming that that's going to be a big piece, which I'm very, very excited to read because that's the kind of book that I write and love. I would love to read. Anyway, then we have George and Lizzie, which looks like a really good book. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I just haven't gotten it was just on a TBR online of mine that I was like, oh, here's some fun books that look good. Not even a TBR. It was just a saved book thing on an app. I don't know. So I'm excited. And then Redeeming Love. I felt like I had to read this in February. Also, I felt like all these books need to be read in February because they were very lovey. Lovey, lovey, lovey. So Those are my dogs. They're very cute. Anyway, Redeeming Love. I've watched the movie, haven't read the book. Probably should have read the book first, but whatever. The next one is called The Choice by Robert Whitlow. Also, I realized I didn't say authors' names. The first one is Jessica Kate. Second one is Nancy Pearl. And the third one is Francine Rivers. Anyway, The Choice by Robert Whitlow. I'm really excited to read this because it's kind of what Look Me in the Eyes is about, in a sense. Obviously not the exact same. Also, this is way thicker than my book. But, like, it's about and that kind of thing. Abortion. That's what it's about. Anyway, I don't want to get blocked on YouTube Live, so I'm trying not to, like, say anything on there that's, like, you know. Anyway, excited to read that book. It's from a really good friend of mine. It's mom. And then here are the other books. Here are the fiction books, or non-fiction books, I mean. The memoir I want to read is The Magnolia Story. I love Chip and Joanna Gaines, so I'm very excited to read that one, and that one's going to take me all month. So that's like the next chapter, but for February. When I was at Passion, I heard Ben Stewart speak, so I bought Single, Dating, Engaged, Married because I've been wanting to read it for a really, really long time, so I'm finally going to, because I actually bought it for a cheaper price, I think. Oh yeah, I got this cheaper than normal because I was at Passion. This one is also from Half Price Books, and it's called None Like Him. I'm excited to read this one as well. Most of these are Christian books because I really enjoy Christian, like, books, not like Christian self-help, but more like Christian learning than self-help, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Jenny Allen's made for this. My boyfriend, his biological aunt, let me borrow this book last time we went over there. So my boyfriend's adopted, so his bio aunt let me borrow this because he still has a relationship with them, which is really, really cool. Anyway, then the next one is also from Jenny Allen, which I have been wanting to read this for so long because we've been talking about. I'm really big on community and hospitality and all that jazz. I think that those are some of the most important things. And so Find Your People by Jenny Allen has been one I've been wanting to read for a long time. So I'm finally going to read it. I bought it a few months ago, but I've had so many books I'm trying to read. I still have books on my iPad. So actually, I do know what book I'm reading next week. It's redefining sexuality. It's Christian. It's not like any weird sexuality stuff, if you know what I mean. But I'm very excited to read it. It'll be good. So, and I'll probably talk about that at some point definitely like the February episode. Actually, there won't be a February episode because I'm going to be out of town for when the live one would be. So it has to be, that one's going to be pre-recorded about Aaron and I's story. Okay, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do the first week of March will be a February recap. And then the second week of March, the third girl will come on. I don't know. I think the last thing I wanted to say is something that I've been kind of joking about how January is your trial run. And so February is when it gets real, not really, but like your New Year's resolutions. For me this year, I've been really focusing on like getting better. So it's growth, not perfection. So I'm not perfect at any of my New Year's resolutions. I've failed so many times at them. So many times. But the point is growth. So like I'm growing more in these things. God really revealed that to me when I was like, God, I don't even know how to spend an hour with you. I was like, I read my Bible. I took notes. I worshiped. For like a minute there. It wasn't very long, Lizzy. I don't know why I'm talking to myself. There's no one on the line, but that's okay. Anyway, I worshiped for just a second. I prayed a lot. And I read my devotionals, which I'd like to share with you. The Mockingbird devotional, it's January 1st through December 31st. Live on Purpose, Sadie Robertson. And then my little discomfort is growth. journal from Grow with Tori, who was also on the podcast at one point, so go check out her episode. Anyway, those books have been really, really helpful. But I was like, I went through all those, and I was like, God, how do I keep, I don't know, it hasn't all been an hour, and I've been trying to spend an hour with you every day. And I was like, I'm really discouraged. But then he was like, no, it's about growth. You're going to learn. And I was like, okay. So it's about learning. It's about constantly learning. And like I said, I'm learning about my cycles. I'm not fully syncing them yet. I'm learning about like, okay, how do I manage my time well when I have all these things going on? And that's going to allow me to do more. And like, it's just learning and growing. It's not being perfect right now. So I was kind of joking that January is your trial run because you're trying out these things. And maybe you found out things that worked for you, things that didn't work for you. Okay, this New Year's resolution, actually, I decided I don't want to do it. Like, I don't know. I think New Year's resolutions can be really, really good for you. I think that I really do. I feel like I really enjoy New Year's resolutions. And some people can't do them. Some people, it will stress them out so much. Some people become an idol. Some people, there are reasons you don't do them, But like for me, that's a reason there are reasons I really love to do them. So I'm going to do them. So yeah, just something I was thinking about. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry, I keep burping. It's a habit when I have Lotus. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed the live, which for all of you won't really be live, but that's okay. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys for next week's episode, and God bless. Bye.